Thanks, Mr. Chair. I believe you or somebody has to move the bill. I don't have the script in front of me.
I'm sorry. I'll move that House File 200 be in front of us, and where are we? Okay, and this is being laid over for possible inclusion. Representative Anderson.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I hope this bill can kind of bring us all back together again here today. It deals with the buffer compensation, and since the buffer bill was passed back in 2015, it has struck me that when you make a program mandatory, you make it a lot more complicated. You add in enforcement, and we've made some changes to try to make the bill better in the ensuing years, but the one thing we really haven't addressed, in my opinion, is that of compensation. And when the state is requiring landowners, farmers to give up productive tillable farmland and to put in a buffer strip, I think that there's some movement that the state should help pay for that, and the farmer shouldn't have to shoulder that loss of a potential income by putting in a buffer on productive farmland. And Mr. Chair, this bill is rather prescriptive, trying to deal with all the aspects of buffers that were put in years ago and didn't get payment. I understand that, but I had to start someplace and end someplace, and so this bill is prescriptive in that it only pertains to buffers installed along public waters of that DNR map that was used to guide Bowser in buffers being put on public land. And Mr. Chair, I do have an amendment, the A1 amendment, that simply makes a change in the year, which expands by 1 year the eligibility for buffers to be eligible for this payment. It's on page 2, line 11, and page 2, line 28. Simply moves the end date from 2018 to 2019. The latest buffer map that I saw showed that we were 99% complete in terms of buffer installation, but that 1% that's remaining would then be eligible and may encourage them to get their buffers installed yet this year and be eligible for this payment. I had a bill last year that was simply a tax credit. That bill is also alive this year. But what this bill does, and again it's prescriptive to land that's put aside for public water buffers, it would pay the average county rental rate per year that land is in the buffer. So the payment would be substantially larger than the $50 per acre payment, which to me it's only fair that you would pay the farmer or landowner the approximate value of the land that he is putting aside in a buffer strip.
Anderson,
yeah.
If I thought I heard you move the A1. Yeah, A1 amendment.
I'd like to move that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I just wanted to take care of that while we've got, put it in front of us here and take care of that. And any questions on the A1? Seeing none, all in favor of the A1 amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Amendment's adopted. Please proceed.
Thanks again, Mr. Chair. So again, the eligible dates to be eligible here are 2015, when the original buffer law was passed, and it now would extend it through the year 2019 to be eligible to take part in this program. It pertains to two-way tillable farmland, and the farmer would in essence certify his own acreage. He would get a form from the Department of Revenue, and he would have to determine the number of acres to the nearest acre, whole acre. That would have to be signed off by the local SWCD, and then that would be submitted for his payment to the state of Minnesota. And with that, Mr. Chair, that's pretty basic what the bill does, and I would stand for questions from members.
Representative McGuinness.
Representative Anderson, you're trying to set a precedent that I see spilling over into other areas. So I am thinking about, I live in the city of Minneapolis, and our city will regularly tell a building owner who wants to build a 40-story building, no, it can only be 30 stories. Or a building that wants to be 8 stories, no, you can only be 6 stories, taking away potential income. Similarly, the city will say, the builder will want to build to the lot line, and the city will say, no, you can't build to the lot line, again, taking away potential income. If you set this precedent, do you expect that, I mean, I would expect, that other people will say, now I have to be reimbursed because I can't exercise every right I thought I would like to have in having this piece of property as an income-producing piece of property. How do you see, is that a good precedent to step for the state?
Representative Anderson.
Mr. Chair and Representative Ogenius, you raise a valid point, and what you're talking about is a planning or zoning instance where government is saying you cannot do this. What the buffer law does, it says you must do this. And if this bill doesn't pass, and I can't answer the question because I'm not a court, but I think if we don't provide some type of compensation to farmers or landowners who have land put into buffer strips, this will be challenged in court. Now, that's my opinion. Constitution says just compensation for the taking of public land, of private land. And this is one thing we haven't addressed yet with the buffer law. And I think if we don't look at this aspect of compensation, it will get challenged in court.
Representative Guinness.
Well, similarly, Representative Anderson, if you were to set this precedent, which I hope you don't, a building owner who is told you must not build higher than, and loses 2 stories or 40 stories or whatever, and loses a lot of income because of that, that could be called a taking, just as you are arguing. I think the courts have been very clear that this is not a taking, and that the argument that you are making that the courts would go along with you is not a good one.
Mr. Chair.
Representative Anderson.
I respectfully disagree that, and I don't have any buffers on my farm, so this doesn't affect me individually, but if I'm told by my local SWCD that I have to give up 9 acres of productive farmland and put in grass strips, I would think I should be compensated. If this is good for the state, and we all hope it is, then I think the state should step up to the plate and help compensate landowners who lose potential income.
A big one of those.
Hang on here. Representative Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Anderson, I'm just wondering what I don't see a fiscal note. I'm just wondering what the cost of this is going to be.
Representative Anderson.
Thanks, Mr. Chair and Representative. We don't know yet. The fiscal note has been ordered, and the numbers on page 5 are for the administration of the program. That is not the cost. It's going to be expensive, and the biggest unknown right now is the number of acres that would be eligible for the program. Again, it's fairly prescriptive. It would involve acres only in public water buffer areas, not the public ditches. But the fiscal note is on the way, and it was going to be here in time for a fiscal committee meeting whenever that would come, is what I was told yesterday.
Representative Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you just give me like an idea? You say expensive, like the scale, some concept, just because, I don't have even a vague idea.
That's a good question, and again, it depends on the number of acres, because that determines half the equation here as far as payments. I believe the governor, in his announcement yesterday, proposed the $50 an acre payment for a tax credit. As I recall, that cost was something in the neighborhood of $15 million. But again, what acres were eligible for that, that's the unknown here.
Okay, so,
Yeah, Representative Gomez.
Madam Chair, thank you. I mean, I know this is a policy committee, not a finance committee, but not knowing that at all makes it really difficult to think about supporting this at this time. I'm also interested in, anytime we're talking about this kind of compensation, I think about the difference in the impacts of sort of large versus smaller operations and, what it means for a really big, large kind of highly profitable operation versus something that's really small. And so I'm wondering if there's any thought about imposing any income sensitivity or any kind of progressivity into this scheme, or if it's just like straight up, no matter who you are, you're getting the same amount.
Representative Anderson.
Thanks, Madam Chair. This would not be that descriptive. It's complicated enough trying to come up with acreages and payments and what's eligible without putting in some income eligibility. And again, if you lose productive acres, you should be compensated. In my opinion, you should be compensated for it. So this does not have any income stipulations to it.
Representative Gomez.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. I guess, yeah, again, just for me, it's absent that, it's difficult to think about supporting this just because I am sensitive to how, if, for example, just like thinking about what percentage of somebody's holding is it has to be converted to a riparian buffer, for example, would be a way of thinking about kind of further protecting those smaller operations. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about income, but for me, it's like I would want to any policy that was compensating using public dollars to compensate business owners. I would want some sensitivity about the size of the operation. So thank you, Madam Chair.
And members, being mindful of time, I do want to take a pause on questions to see if there's anyone, particularly if there's anyone who has traveled to our committee to come testify on this. Now would be the time to come forward. Please state your name for the record and then go ahead with your testimony.
Madam Chair and members, my name is Leslie Everett. I live in Falcon Heights, Minnesota. I'm a recently retired agronomist and also a farm owner. And I was also on the drainage work group, the state drainage work group, which you're probably aware of, for several years. The substance of this bill came before the drainage work group, and we did not reach consensus on it. I found the bill to not be advisable, and for the following reasons. As you probably know, the buffer requirement was in shoreland rules for many years. It was also in the, it's also been in the the Public Drainage Bill 103E statute. So the requirement's been there for many years. Some counties, some drainage authorities, some counties implemented it, others didn't. So there are farmers out there who have had those buffers in place for many years. They're not covered under this bill. Secondly, there was no absolute requirement to have the buffer. In the buffer law, there is a provision for to substitute alternative conservation practices. So you could do something like strip tillage or some other productive, shall we say, crop productive practice, not have to put in a buffer. It just had to meet the requirements that were put out there by Bowser and the SWCDs. They were also given, the farmers were also given the ability to have variable width buffers to meet the requirement. So for those reasons, I don't see this as a good use of general fund money at this time. Like I said, I have a farm, we have buffers, I'm not compensated for it. We just expect that. And part of the reason for having the buffers is to stabilize the ditch banks and just the ditch banks by dewatering the ditch banks. One of the biggest sources, or the biggest source in the Minnesota River Basin of sediment is actually stream bank bluff and ravine erosion. I was part of a team that wrote a book on that. And stabilizing those stream banks, you need to have the permanent vegetation there, not just 4 months out of the year. That costs us all if it's not there. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Any additional testifiers from the audience? If there's anyone else, since we're short on time, if you could go ahead and come up to the front so that we can move quickly to the next testifier. Please state your name for the record and go ahead with your testimony.
Madam Chair, Dan Larson, Minnesota Rural Counties, here today to testify in support of House File 200 as an important and necessary component to closing the loop on buffer implementation. So we understand this is a complicated issue. We want to recognize Representative Anderson's effort in taking this on. And again, this is the last piece for final buffer implementation and extremely important. The issue of compensating landowners for land taken out of production from a state mandate may be complicated in St. Paul, but in greater Minnesota, it's not complicated at all. A landowner that's in this day and age, the ag economy is not good. So buffers taken out of production means tillable lands that, of course, going to affect the bottom line. So want to, again, thank Representative Anderson. Again, it's a key and critical component that must be implemented to relieve landowners for compliance with this state-mandated program.
Thank you for your testimony. And members, we have numerous members on the list to speak on both sides of the aisle. However, I'm aware of the time and we have to get out of this room. And my understanding, Representative Anderson, is you might have a different version of this bill being introduced, so there might be some other buffer bills coming forward in the coming days, if you could speak to that.
Madam Chair, this is the only bill I have this year pertaining to this. You know, I could just comment on the previous testifier. If farmers have used strip till or that type of thing, that's fine. They haven't lost tillable ground if they strip till. That's just a method of tillage. So they wouldn't be paid under this if they didn't actually lose productive land. So that to me is a non-issue. If you're doing a strip tillage or some kind of variable tillage, if you don't lose land, tillable land, you wouldn't be compensated under this program.
Okay, so my understanding is there are other bills, maybe it isn't your bill, Representative Anderson, but this discussion of buffers will, I think, best be continued on a different day when we have those other bills in front of us, as we have to be out of this room. So I will renew Chair, I believe, Chair Purcell's motion to lay your bill on the table as amended, and we'll come back to it at another time.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the bill is laid over.